night. From NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, it's Thursday Night Football on EA Sports. It's the Houston Texans taking on the Oklahoma City Nighthawks.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Oklahoma City Nighthawks and the Houston Texans. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. And a glance at the tall signal caller, standing 6'6".
And it felt like in watching the game tape, he got everyone involved last week.
He was a manager.
He really was. That's a great way to put it because they ran the ball some, they threw it accurately. One touchdown pass, so he didn't, break the bank doing that, but he didn't throw any interceptions. That's the bottom line. That's why a defense loves a quarterback like that. Doesn't put them in bad situations.
And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield. This drive starting off on the right foot, 18 yards. Another fine carry from the NFL's rushing leader, and quarterbacks typically dominating the MVP balloting, but I think you got to give this guy serious consideration, don't you?
I agree totally. I mean, he's leading the league in rushing, and let's face it, partner, the running back renaissance in the NFL, it's real, and it's really helping teams along the way. He's a prime example. Got to give him strong consideration for MVP talk.
So one play, and they're already just shy of midfield. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down.
Brandon, we saw these defenders flying to the football in their win last week, and nothing has changed. They're still moving around quickly and forcing incompletions.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. And he goes across midfield and down into Houston territory. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down.
That second down play call was not to pick up the first down. It was to accomplish what they did to get them into a manageable 3rd down because they had incompletion on first down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
And they stop him up short of the first down as they get him at about the 43. 4 yards on the pickup there, but it's going to take him to 4th down.
Now, that was a big-time play by the defense. They as well knew where the first down line was, and they didn't let them get anywhere near it.
And on their first drive, the offense staying out there. They're going to go for it on 4th. And some room to maneuver. And he's going to get this inside the 30. How about them biting off 15 yards there on the 4th down attempt and keeping the drive alive?
Well, that's what's called being aggressive right there. But I don't know that it's reckless. I think it's much more of a message, hey, defense, I believe in you in case we don't get it. And offense, trying to let them know he believes in them as well.
I like it. Your first drive of the game in plus territory, be aggressive. They're going to go with a tight end here on the running play. Eventually wrangled down before reaching the 20, but a strong run. It's a 6-yard pickup, but it gets him to 2nd and 4.
That's a strong pickup right there on first down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
So 2nd and 4 from the 22. And again this time to the tailback. And he's going to be close to a first down as the tackle is made at the Texans 17.
Taken down at the
North of 100 yards, the 2 scores. And, you know, you've got to give a lot of credit to the O-line. We talked a lot about him, but offensive line was good too.
They're obviously in sync with each other, whether it's zone blocking, power running game, no matter what. He understands how to read them and find the creases that they provide.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And he'll get about 3 as he's taken down at the 14-yard line.
Taken down at the
He's had success on this drive, but not on this play.
Finally, they bowed up defensively. I think they were determined not to let him take it pretty much all the way down the field.
Yeah, it looks like they handled their run responsibilities correctly this time. What we call run fits, everyone was in the right place.
And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9.
ball carrier.
Call it a gain of 5 there on the run, but they'll remain a yard or 2 short here with third down coming up.
And it's third down.
On third down, it's Robinson, and he won't be close to a first down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave him with a fourth down.
I apologize in advance, partner, but the beefeaters on the interior of this D-line, you just know they were licking their chops on third and short. And yes, they were rewarded with a tasty dish, stuffing that one short of a first down.
They'll run for it with Robinson and try to push his way forward, but I think he's going to be short, and he is short. They'll get neither the touchdown nor the first down. And this crowd into it early. Their guys stand tall on the opening drive of the football game. Here's Ronald Jones, first carry for the USC man. And he stopped immediately there. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down.
No gain on the play. Brings up 2nd and 10.
On second down now, it's Jones. Here's another tackle made at the line, so they're converging well on the football now. Officially nothing on that one, no gain, so they're left with still 10 to go on third down. A shotgun snap for Watson. He'll drop this underneath for Jones. And he is not going to get to the mark as they stop him short at the 14. Their opening drive here is going to result in a punt. They got 7 yards there, but not enough.
There's an example of good situational football being played by a defense. They understood where the third down play was, the down and distance, and made sure that they didn't get anywhere near that, bringing up fourth down.
Yeah, they were sniffing out that marker, didn't want to let him get close to there, and now a likely 3 and out to start.
Yeah, I love the way they rallied to the football and got to him and made sure he didn't give up much run after catch.
6 figures every year, yeah, this line is where my turn.
On fourth down, A.J. Cole comes on to punt. And the win last week punted 4 times as this one's away. No score after 1 on EA Sports.
No score.
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. And on the last drive, they were in field goal range. They just opted not to kick it, didn't get it. How does that change the mentality this go around?
I don't think it changes much for the head coach because this is what he preaches all the time. Attack at all times in any spot on the field, and he likes touchdowns, not field goals. Now, your field goal kicker, you got to make sure you nurse him through and say, okay, don't worry about it. When we need you, you got to be ready to go. And the team, of course, loves to see points on the board. So let's see if it changes a little bit. They're in the same spot again.
Well, we'll see what the decision is here if they get to that spot.
10 yards to go.
On third down.
It's
James Robinson. And he gets this to the 48, but no further. Well short of the line to gain. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave them with a 4th down.
Well, the guys who are paid to make the tackles deserve some kudos there, but I think they deserve even bigger ones because in that situation, they had to be thinking pass. Loosened up defense, going to pass coverage. Instead, maybe they surprised them a little bit running the ball, yet they rallied to it and stopped them well short of a 1st down.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. Great job here. This is going to turn out to be a beauty. This is marked down at about the 3-yard line. So they'll play the field position game here as a very nice punt is going to pin them back.
Yeah, it's almost like watching a game of tennis, or do you prefer ping pong? You know, back and forth like that? That definitely was excellent, wasn't it?
So now we get set to see Houston for their 2nd drive of the ball game, and they will start this drive with just terrible field position backed up inside their own 5.
But we have seen teams be bold here and take shots, right? Sometimes you go max protection, make it a 1-receiver route, and take your shot downfield and see what happens. And occasionally, we've seen success occur.
He's brought down.
The tackle made by the linebacker, Joe Schobert. The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. This is Jones. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. It's a loss of a yard, so it's back to 3rd and 10.
Some of these play calls, I think they're a little conservative, but you know me, because it's easy to sit up in this booth, right, and make all the calls and think I'm going to be correct. But I would like to see them open things up, because otherwise this defense is going to gang up on the run and shut them down.
The threat of a 2nd straight punt to start the game is looming as they come up 3rd and 10. Now Jones. And he's able to get this up just shy of the 15. Trying to escape the shadow of their goalpost. That helped. 10 yards. 1st down.
I think I saw a lot of shoulders just drop there. And what I mean by that is they finally were able to relax a little bit because that was an important play call. They needed to pick up that 1st down at this stage of the game.
Yeah, couldn't afford another quick drive and out. So still backed up, but the situation not as dire now. 1st and 10 at the 14. They'll try the air now with Watson. That's caught by Hollister. And he's going to be taken down right at the line. No gain there on the completion. 2nd and 10.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He can make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. Had the completed pass, but for no gain, stopped right at the line, so it's 2nd and 10. They'll run it with Jones. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 15.
He's brought down.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here defensively. Out of the gun, Watson. And the throw there going to be incomplete. The passing game not in sync here early. And now it's 4th down.
Every offense tells you they want to come out and start fast. That's not unusual at all. But this group, they've yet to get much rolling through their first 2 drives. It looks like they have to give up the football again after this one.
Here's A.J. Cole now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. And he fields it cleanly. A very good return there. Give him an even 20 yards. And possession will switch hands. 1st and 10. Now this offense about ready to take over again. And the final 2 weeks, just like a formality pretty much, they're going to be the #1 seed. But there is the matter of that perfect soft record, 14-0 right now. How might that change how they approach these next two games?
And I think what it does is it forces you to come together as a team and as an organization and say, okay, what are we really trying to accomplish here? And what's the best way to reach those goals? For some teams, the best way is to stay focused, stay locked in, go for a perfect season, and then take that open week to rest and heal up before the playoffs begin. For others, okay, we've got it locked in. Let's start to tamp it down a little bit. Get these guys rested and ready to go. All depends on your organization. I think most players would tell you, let's go for the perfect 16-0.
Yeah, I think fan base, they would usually say that as well, wouldn't they?
They certainly would. The hard part, though, is if you get beat along the way, we should have rested the guys.
Exactly.
You know how it works.
Coming up at the half, a reminder, we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. And he gets it down to the 32. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
So many teams want to throw the ball in this situation nowadays, but I love watching a team that has enough confidence to go ahead and run the football. In that situation, that's almost a tendency breaker.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. They'll run it now with Robinson. And only able to get 2 here. Stopped at the 30.
Certainly a nice job there by the defense rallying to the football and getting him on the ground. But I think the play gets made by the defensive front. Because if they can't get upfield, their job is to go ahead and get low, almost get into a ball.
And it's caught. Touchdown. Jaleel Scott. His 4th touchdown on the year as his guys are on the board first here tonight. Sometimes those tight ends are a mismatch. They found the mismatch there.
And that's exactly why you want to draw up those types of plays, because coverage is just going to go to the natural guys, the guys that make the big plays on the outside. But if you work your tight end into it, that's a tough one for a defense to handle.
Tough. They couldn't handle it. It worked out for 6. Josh Lambo now for the point after. It's up and good, and it'll give his guy a 7-0 lead. The drive there only spanning 3 plays.
Nothing. Josh Lambo is set to kick off.
And Lambo now, after the touchdown, he'll kick this one away. From just inside the 20, a short kick. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape up past the 30.
At their own 31-yard line.
Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. The partner just looking at some of the struggles they've had this season. The playoffs are not in their future. As they start to peer toward the offseason, what moves might they make?
I think the running back position, and I know we talk all the time about the NFL being a passing league, but the teams that run the ball effectively, they're the ones that go deep into the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. They have to upgrade here. And you and I both know in recent years in the draft, people have shied away from taking a runner early, but there's that special one there. I say they go get it.
On 1st down, it's Watson. And an incomplete pass.
Watson.
That'll stop the clock here with just under a minute to play in half number 1. And that one off the mark behind him. Incomplete. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Throwing again is Watson. Under pressure now, Watson, and down he goes. Now the Texans will use one of their 2 remaining timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. Gonna need something special here on 3rd and long. After that sack, what does Watson have in his arsenal? On the counter, here's Jones. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. It'll be a gain of 5, and the punt team will now come out on 4th down.
That was a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run. And a lot of times you think if you blitz a running play, you're going to smother it. But a lot of the blitzers, they come in a little bit high. They don't have great leverage, and they're easily blocked and turned to the side.
Here's A.J. Cole now as he's on to punt for Houston. His first punt, 48 yards. This one looks equally as good. And this will be taken at the 13. A very nice punt that time, but they get 11 back on the return. And there'll be time for maybe one final play before halftime. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
So we've reached halftime with just the lone touchdown. 7-0 is our score. As we send you on over to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach.
All right, Brandon, 2 weeks to go in the NFL season. A lot of races coming down to the wire. Before we get it back to you guys, let's check out what we have coming up this weekend on the Week 16 NFL slate. In the early games, a lot of good matchups, one being in Indianapolis. A tough one for the Colts, as they'll have to do battle with the Tennessee Titans. In the late afternoon games, all eyes will be on Las Vegas. A glitzy matchup there, where it'll be the Raiders taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. And then finally, we wrap up the week with a good one on Monday Night Football between the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. Meanwhile, in our game, just the lone touchdown accounting for all the scoring. A tight one, 7-0 is the score. And for the call of the second half, we send it back to our broadcast team of Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, appreciate it. A one-touchdown game here as we get set to resume play in the second half.
Josh Lambo is set to kick off.
The Texans down on the scoreboard, but they do get the first crack here as we are back underway in the second half. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And now out comes Houston. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
The second half starts with a carry by Jones. Now he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's 2nd and a yard from the 34. From the gun, here's Watson. Throw complete right side to Cooks. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. Just his second catch of the game so far. This one moves the chains. They run the option here on 1st and 10. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
I have to think major focus at a halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the first level, make sure that block's secured before they slide off and try and chip someone at the second level.
It's a gain of 6, moves them to a manageable 3rd and 2 situation.
It's interesting going into this game. There was so much talk from both sides about who would control the line of scrimmage. Like we've seen who has it in this one so far.
Well, they bottled him up. He's barely averaging over 3 yards carry right now. A couple extra tight ends in the formation here as they line up 3rd and 2. They'll try and run for it with Jones. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 45-yard line. Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down.
Well, they sent the power set out there, and their job is to be man-on-man and move people so they can run the football. But that time, too many men didn't get moved in the box defensively. They end up throwing it for a loss.
Here's A.J. Cole now as he's on to punt for the 4th time tonight. Oh, this is off the side of his foot. So this punt sails out of bounds across midfield. Now the question, they're going to spot it right at the 40, the 40-yard line. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half. Now, both of these defenses have been stifling these last few drives offensively. Just not able to get anything going, so what needs to change?
I think a lot of the guys will go back and review, so to speak, because everyone has someone assigned to how did each play work. Okay, what did we use that kind of worked for us during this game? Try and get back to some of those plays, as well as the possibility of showing something you haven't shown already in this game and trying to change things up.
We'll see if they take the advice of Mr. Davis. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on 1st down, that fits the bill.
A good run got 7 on 1st. Here's 2nd and 3. They'll keep it on the ground. Robinson. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. And now it looks like we're going to get a timeout here. We've got a man shaken up. And how might this affect him for the playoffs? We'll get a report when we come back. On 1st down, Robinson. Flashed the stick skills, but didn't get a ton from it. Stopped short of the 35. A solid run on 1st down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball. But when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. They run. Robinson. And he's going to get it down to the 33-yard line here. 4 yards the pickup, 1st down.
They were not fooling around at all, were they? 2nd and short, and they brought out the heavy package. Almost felt like the super heavy package against that defense, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they expected that much beef up front, and it turned into an easy 1st down conversion. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. On the run, Robinson down to the 30 after a gain of 3.
The ball carrier.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. They'll run here with Robinson. Breaks the tackle, now an alley. And he's going to be close to a 1st down as the tackle is made at the Texans' 21. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains.
For a lot of guys playing this game, there's no better feeling than running right through a tackle. He's able to lower his center of gravity and turn his legs for a really nice pickup.
Under a minute to go in this 3rd quarter as they come up 1st and 10. And he'll give it here to his running back. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. The pickup goes for 13 and sets him up 1st and goal.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense gets a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he will take this one in for a touchdown. An 8-yard touchdown run. And his guys find a way to stretch that lead.
And that's a drive that makes everyone happy on that bench, because they accomplish exactly what they set out to do. Take care of the football, eat up a little clock, end up in the end zone. Now they've got a cushion for the rest of the game. So they didn't just help themselves offensively, they helped their defense out as well.
Lambo to add on the extra point. And it's good to make it 14-0. So that drive in total 8 plays. And the capper that put it in the end zone, a run of 8 yards.
Josh Lambo set to kick off.
And Lambo now, after the touchdown, he'll kick this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one, as it's through the end zone for a touchback.
5-yard line.
The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And right now these guys shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with it punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3. 1 quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Three yards remain for 2nd down. Now Watson. Under pressure now, Watson, and down he goes.
Remember, throughout my career here in defensive coaches always say, guys, you got to earn the right to rush the passer. Well, they put themselves in a great spot with this big lead, and they know they've got to throw the ball.
These pass rushers have to be salivating. It is pin your ears back time indeed. Following the sack, it's now 3rd and long for Watson and the Texans. From the gun, Watson, and he fires one that's intercepted. It's C.J. Henderson picking it off, and he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. And that one will pretty much erase any hopes of a 4th quarter comeback.
With emphasis, interception, return for touchdown. Door closed, locked, reinforced.
Lambo on for the extra point. And it is now 21-0. A heck of a play there defensively, getting the interception, navigating his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Josh Lambo set to kick off.
So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. Fielded a couple yards into the end zone. And tackled at the 21-yard line, so a net negative there of 4 yards.
1 yard line.
Out now comes the Houston offense as you take a look at the playoff picture in the AFC. And with the final fortnight of games upon us, teams jockeying for position. Some of these games really starting to take enormous importance as they always do this time of year.
I like how you use fortnight.
Yeah, you're impressed, aren't you?
I am impressed. That means 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That does.
But how about exactly what you're talking about? Going down the stretch, how much importance is placed on these games? Look, everyone talks about every game's important. When you get to this time of year, maybe that importance gets quadrupled. And that's where we are right now to see who can make their last run, their last push to get into the playoffs. It certainly didn't appear that that's where he wanted to go with the ball initially, so he tried to get something out of it by dumping it off to his running back unsuccessfully.
From the 21, it's 2nd and 10. Throwing again. Watson. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off near the 26. And they will finally get to him, but a great return has set him up 1st and goal at the 5. He's at it again, Charles. He had the pick 6 last week. Not a pick 6 here, but an interception.
It's another Oski, because that's the word we use when we intercept a pass. Oski tells your team to rally around and block for you. Well, that worked really well last week because he made it all the way to the end zone. This week he got the Oski, maybe not a touchdown, but boy, he's playing really well.
Suddenly it's 1st and goal after the interception. A quick change in the situation here. Now a handoff here to his running back. And he's able to break out of one tackle, but then quickly brought down. And given 5 that time as they draw a bit closer here for a 2nd and goal. 2 of their 3 red zone trips so far they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on 2nd and goal. They'll try and run. This is Robinson. And he'll take it into the end zone for a touchdown. James Robinson, his 2nd touchdown of the night. And his guys capitalize on the short field as they take it in for 6. And he certainly played a pivotal role with those 2 TDs and why they're up on the scoreboard right now.
Well, someone's all about winning, aren't they? Because he's not worried about the number. Sure, it's great to have 2 touchdowns. The bottom line is what he's doing is contributing to their lead. He wants to continue to do so.
Lambo to add on the extra point. It's good, and they stretch their lead to 28-0 now. Well, that drive started with a whole lot of real estate in front of them. In plus territory, excellent field position. 2 plays later, pay dirt.
Josh Lambo set to kick off.
And Lambo now, after the touchdown, he'll kick this one away. Fielded a couple yards into the end zone. And he returns this to the 22.
1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
So out now comes the offense back onto the field. We certainly had a sense coming in here that these guys were in for a tough one on the road. That has been how this ball game has played out. They trail big as we continue on now here in this 4th quarter. Watson will bring up the Texans here, 1st and 10 at their own 22. Out of the gun, he'll throw. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he's upended after a gain of 4. up to the 25-yard line. They'll contain him to just 4. Second down.
At the 25-yard line.
Operating from the gun, Watson. Under pressure now, Watson, and down he goes. Josh Allen, he's the culprit, and that is now his 13th sack of the season as his great year continues.
Well, many times when you talk about mobile quarterbacks, you get the sense that they feel like they can get out of any bad situation. They keep moving around and trying to emulate guys like the Scrambler or the Dodger. Instead, they keep losing yardage and digging themselves a hole that they can't get out of.
Following the sack, it's now 3rd and long for Watson and the Texans.
That's the way. Both sevens are Mike. Both sevens are Mike.
Here's Watson. He sets up the screen to Jones. A nice job to break free of one tackle, but it slowed his momentum somewhat, and he's taken down right after. He did his best to just get 4 out of that, but not enough. And now 4th down. You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give him that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
Here's A.J. Cole now, standing just outside his own goal line. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. Returnable here from the 38. Nice punt, but good work on the return to give back 11 yards. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. He's already hit pay dirt twice. He's up over 100 yards. He is feeling good.
And he's just zipping along today. Everything coming together for him. It's that type of a day that you see a back just got to have a grin on his face every time his number is called, because he doesn't feel like there's going to be any lost yardage plays, nothing but big-time positive runs.
Making the sideline grin as well. They start on the ground with Robinson here. And he goes across midfield and down into Houston territory. Troy Pride that time gets the tackle.
Well, sometimes as a running back, you've got to be able to improvise when the hole's not where you expect it to be. But in this case, there wasn't any improvisation that he could do that was going to work. Kind of like if you're trying to be a comedian on open mic night at the Improv and you run into a tough crowd.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Again, it's Robinson. And he's going to be close to a first down as the tackle is made at the Texans' 43-yard line.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's our visitors with the football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. And brought down, but not before he was able to break the tackle, and the extra effort moves the sticks. An effective 7-yard 3rd down conversion.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with, and throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And they're able to get this one past the 30 to the 25-yard line.
Ball carrier.
Give them 11 yards that time and a new set of downs.
Brendan, every great running backs coach I've talked with has always talked about when you have great vision, you're not consciously thinking about your cuts and your moves. you're just doing them. And I think that's what we're seeing tonight. He's about running them into submission.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to use that phrase. He has run them into submission.
Wave the white flag.
8 yards on the pick.
Well, they'll take that every time with a lead, first down, fourth quarter, getting 8 yards. You love that.
They will take it, and you have to ask the defensive guys, why did you give it?
And this will be caught, and the carnage continues. It's another touchdown. Lambo on for the extra point. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. So the drive there took 6 plays.
Josh Lambo set to kick off.
And Lambo now, after the touchdown, he'll kick this one away. Fielded a couple yards into the end zone. And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked out officially at the 21.
They're on 21-yard line.
Houston set to take over. Well, I think that the folks here had hoped that maybe this home atmosphere would carry their guys to a surprise victory, but it does not appear that that's going to be the case. There's too much to handle on the other side in this one. First down, Watson. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Too many zeros on the stat sheet thus far. No touchdown passes, no points for his team, but he remains undaunted. Still attempting to get his team on the scoreboard, firing the ball downfield.
Back to the air, Watson on second down. Pass incomplete.
That incompletion is not a surprise with the way that this one has gone, and the frustration, the body language is evident everywhere. This team, they've really been put through the ringer in this one.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. From the gun, Watson. And that will be incomplete.
That's an excellent job right there on 3rd down. Like any defense, you never want to let them get anything started, and that would have been a first down. Instead, he saw the contact on time, no penalty, and before this drive could get wings, it's 4th down.
Fielded at the 33. A nice job on the return there, 16 yards. And out will come the offense as they take over. The OKC offense ready to set up shop again. And 3 timeouts remaining here defensively, but really not much reason to use them at this point as this one is all but over.
If they use the timeouts here, it's strictly for show. We got a plane to catch.
Good starting field position for them as they come up 1st and 10, just shy of midfield at the 49. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far at 2nd down.
When you look at the scoreboard, you'd think they'd be pretty comfortable right now with this lead, but these guys are absolutely not going to let up. They want to increase their lead, and they want to do it with a big play. Unable to connect in that attempt.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. That one looks like he'll throw here. There goes a deep ball, end zone. And give him another 6. It's caught for a touchdown, and the blowout continues.
Well, business as usual for them. Well on their way to another victory. Riding a serious wave of momentum from what we've seen. And so far, they haven't met their match. So if you're going to play this team in the future, your mission is clear. You better be ready to play and match their firepower.
Lambo to add on the extra point. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. Pretty clean and simple there. Just 2 plays. The long pass resulting in the touchdown on play number 2.
Josh Lambo set to kick off.
And Lambo now, after the touchdown, he'll kick this one away. Fielded a couple yards into the end zone. And he'll be dropped at the 21-yard line. So bringing it out of the end zone proves not a good decision. Loses him about 4 yards. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. This is just an exercise in futility. Do you bother running a play here offensively?
I wouldn't, because now is not going to erase what's happened during the game. So after it's over, you're going to go to the film, find out where the game was really lost. But this is not a situation now where you're going to make up for anything.
We'll see what they do here. One last throw here for Watson. He's going to let it fly. And that will be incomplete as time has run out on this football game. So this crowd will not go home happy. It's a victory for our visitors. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one, and that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that and you're out there fresh playing, up a little extra spring in your step, and it showed up in this one.
They had a ton of spring in their step. Impressive victory. So for our visitors, they're now a win away from a perfect regular season. It's moved to 15-0. And now they'll have a few extra days here before they face Indianapolis next week. Meanwhile, for Houston, they're guaranteed now a sub-500 season as they fall to 6-9. And they'll try to get back on the beam next week as they'll head to Tampa to take on the Bucs. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Certainly have to thank Charles Davis, my broadcast partner, and our entire crew. We'll catch you next time right here. It's the NFL on EA Sports.